Yes, followers matter, but it's not the first thing they look at when it comes to like them pushing your content.
Sometimes, no matter what, it's okay to get angry comments.
They have them, they don't use them. They're useless.
Saves and shares is like the prelude to them talking to you.
That's a great idea. Okay, everybody that's here, you have the scoop. You have the thing to go try.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Leadership. Um, so you might notice that is not Taylor.
Mm,
This is
no.
Jen. Jen, I mean, how long you been at Just Sell Homes now?
Uh-oh, my video went away. It's
Yeah.
okay, guys. It's okay. I'm back. Since 2019?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, pretty
5 years.
close.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Taylor is not here today, as you can tell. He is at a conference speaking in Toronto right now, and he just couldn't make this work this week, which is okay because next week I can't, because I'm at a different conference next week. If you're in Calgary next week at the conference, let me know. But yeah, so I asked Jen to come on, so I wasn't talking to myself. And we're gonna talk about social media mistakes. So Jen is our social media expert at Just Sell Homes. So like when I have questions about how to do something, I go to Jen, or I just fumble around till I figure it out. But
I think you should give them my actual title, though.
it's a self-proclaimed one, so you might as well.
We like to tell people I am JSH's and really Real Estate Magazine's self-proclaimed social media smartass. I wouldn't call me an
True.
expert. Sure, I'm self-proclaimed
It's true.
smartass.
That is on the business card.
It's
Um,
not a joke. I should have brought one and just been
yeah.
like, see.
There it is. So we're talking. So Jen manages Just a Home social media, Real Estate Magazine social media, and then we have clients who she also manages their social media as well. And if you also do training with us, the most of the time it's going to be with her as well. So we're going to basically talk today about kind of the common mistakes we see people make on social. So we'll kind of go back and forth talking about them. If you have questions, as always, put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A. You can also, if you're wearing clothes, we can bring you up on camera and you can ask live. So always our only requirement is that you are dressed. But if you have questions, let us know. That's the best part of being at something live is you can get your specific answers. So like if you want us to, ask us a question, anything like that, anything social media marketing related, just jump in and ask. So I forgot, I'll start with my first one that I see, and then we'll go from there. So the first one I always see people make the mistake is they're not paying attention to the right numbers.
Mm.
They're like, hey, look how many followers I got, look how many impressions I have. And at the end of it, like there's some value to them, but like we don't really care that
It doesn't
much.
matter. And like even Instagram came out saying like, yes, followers matter, but it's not the first thing they look at when it comes to like them pushing your content out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
it's
for me, I look at like, I mean, there's stages. And that's the other thing that people they don't think about like the different stages. Like I look first at saves and shares. Like I
yep.
do want to know where I want to know impressions is how does it relate to my saves and shares? Like basically how many saves and shares am I getting compared to the amount of impressions? So like if I have 10,000 impressions one week and one share, that's terrible. But if I have 5 impressions and one share, that's pretty good.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, if I have 5 views only, though, that's a separate issue.
Well,
But
then we're
yeah.
looking at other things maybe,
Yeah.
but
But that's where I'm like, for me, it's saves and shares. I was actually just on a call before this with someone, and we were talking a little bit about like saves and shares. Because like at the end of the day, my most important thing is how many conversations is what I'm doing getting started with people. So like because like different than like e-commerce or influencer model, where it's just like I need to get in front of as many people as possible and get as many comments as I can. Like the local business, that doesn't matter. It's conversations that you get started. Saves and shares is like the prelude to them talking to you. Like
Mhm.
the example I was giving to the person before this call was like with a listing. If I send you a listing, it's because I like this listing. Like I'll say like my wife, I'm pointing over here, like but my wife Amanda's over here. If I send her a listing, I might be like, hey, check this one out. She sees it and is like, oh, that's cool. I want to go check out that listing. Then I'm going to go have a conversation with the person where I had it originally to be like, hey, can we book a showing on this?
Yeah.
But it's like that's that first step that kind of indicates I'm going to get closer to a conversation and I'm providing value they actually want because they're sending it to somebody or sharing it. And that's what I want at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, people get so caught up in the kind of superficial numbers because it's the ones you see, right? If you
Yeah.
go into your analytics and stuff like that, Instagram isn't being like, this is how many conversations you started this week or this. So people get caught up on those numbers. But I just kind of relate it all to a networking event, right? So I think a lot of people drop content and walk away and they just go, all right, I'll post the next one tomorrow and that'll be it. And then I'll post the next one the next day. And then hopefully my numbers go up. That's like showing up at a networking anything and dropping your card and then like walking away and being like, someone will pick it up and call me.
Yeah.
No, you
I,
post consistently, show up consistently, but you need to start conversations. The shares are important, the saves are important, but
yeah.
at the end of the day, they don't go if you don't go beyond that, right? So like, okay, so then point number two, right? I'll say that is people not starting conversations. So you mentioned like the shares, the saves being kind of really the most important analytics, agreed, but you have to go beyond that. Once you have that, start engaging with people. So people just walk away. They're like, well, my numbers suck. So social media sucks and it's not for me. That's not the point of like social media. Like you're supposed to be social. You're supposed
Yeah.
to walk in, have a conversation, engage with people. Don't wait for people to start talking to you either. You need to be starting conversations. So who is your ideal client? Where are they spending time? What kind of content are they looking at? Are you is it some, or do your clients love eating out at restaurants? Are they family restaurants? Are they like the really nice posh ones? Do they love going to Starbucks, grabbing a coffee at the local shop, anything like that? Go to those accounts. Who's talking on there? Start conversations and don't be salesy. Just have a talk, connect with them personally. And then people are going to go, who is this? And they're going to click on you. And then they're going to find out you're a realtor, that you do what it is that you do, that you're an expert in your field. And now as soon as they have a question or they're thinking about moving or anything like that, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that person I hit follow on earlier, that person I saved her tip or whatever it may be. Um, they'll
So,
kind of start.
so that's a pet peeve of mine is when I go to someone's profile and I don't know where they work. Like
Right?
this is the
That's
most
great.
annoying thing in the world because like obviously I get mostly real estate agents who follow me.
Mhm.
It's probably like 50% I will go to their profile and I actually don't know the area they serve or anything like that.
No,
Like,
that happens all the time. Like when I'd
yeah,
have coaching clients or something, we'll audit their profile. And I normally have to ask, okay, so where is it that you serve? Where do
yeah.
you work? What's your area? That should not be the case.
That
That
should be
can
like
be
the
our
most obvious thing possible on your profile. Like I
Yes,
need to
and a
know.
massive keyword for your profile as
Yeah,
well. So that's one of the points on our list too, is no keywords in your bio, in your handle, in every word that you put in your bio or in your profile, the algorithm soaks up and it helps them show the right people your content. So for you to say, I'm the number one realtor.
yeah.
Where? So is everybody, but where? Yeah, you need to make it like painfully obvious.
Well, it's like what they're like Instagram and all platforms are kind of going more towards like an SEO focus for finding people, where it's like they're looking at all those signals to be like, this is who they're going to want to be in front of. And it's the mistake a lot of people use with SEO. Like I always say, like most people's websites basically just a house in a dark forest down some dirt paths and the client's on the highway, you need an off ramp with a sign saying this is the off ramp. Then you get off. You need a street sign that brings them over here and something that pushes them over here. Like to get, they need to know how to
Yeah.
get to yours and how to get the right people there. And
Mhm.
that's now social. So like hashtags aren't as important as they used to be because they're going to read your text and be like, okay, I need to get there. I
Mhm.
need, okay, like I'm going to read real estate agent or I'm going to read new market, whether it's like you tag the location, you put it in the comments, be like, okay, that's where they are. That's, we're going to show it to people like that. And you have to like put that thought into if a machine, and because that's all it is, the algorithm is reading your caption, would it know who my ideal clients are to put this in front of?
Mhm.
Most people don't do that.
No, and how many times have we seen people post listings, they post pictures, and then the caption is like, get in touch for a private showing, and then that's it.
My least
There's
favorite
no
is my new listing.
Oh my God. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. All the time, which is so crazy to me. And I'm going to be harsh here. It's lazy. It's very
yeah,
lazy.
yeah,
The way you like take the time to describe a listing and you put it on the website because that's what's going to enthrall people into wanting to know more. It's the same thing with social media. We haven't seen your website yet. So what makes you think I'm going to go want to go look at it if you're not going to tell me more about it? Just draw pictures or a video and again, walk away.
yeah.
Yeah, no, the empty captions, big no. This is your time to shine when it comes for SEOs and keywords and all that good stuff. Who's the client you're trying to sell to? Speak to them.
And
Definitely.
as a reminder to everyone here, because some people have come in, Taylor can't make today, so it's Jen and I. We're mostly talking social media. If you have questions you would want answered, Jen is who I go to with most of my questions now. And then we will answer them and help you out as much as we can. So Q&A box, chat, whatever you want. Leave questions. We'll try to help you out. Otherwise, we're just
No
going to keep
question.
talking.
Simple.
Uh,
Yeah, we love talking.
I
We
mean,
do
we
it
do
all the
all the time, yeah. Professional.
time. But always.
Yep.
But no question is too simple too. I think a lot of people get worried or get scared to ask a question because they're like, oh, everybody knows this. I'm the only one who doesn't. You'd be surprised. We get a lot of the same questions all the time and we want to answer them for you. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid. Please,
Yeah, and if you don't want them to see, you can just change it. If you send it to hosts and panelists in the chat, we won't
yeah.
say your name, or you can just put it to everyone in the chat if you don't care. But it's up to you. So yeah, like I always say, like, yeah, you gotta make sure your content, like if you look at it, it's super obvious to people
Yeah.
who you are, who you're trying to reach, get it in front of them. And then you can start getting into like what's the actual content too. But that initial thing, like it has to make the machine understand who your content's for.
Yeah.
And sometimes the easiest way to do this too is like write out how you'd want the caption to be, and then put that what you want it to be in ChatGPT and say, can you optimize this from an
Hmm.
SEO perspective for this keyword or for
Yeah.
this demographic? And I can help you rewrite it in that way. Um,
Hmm.
but then the other big mistake I see there is people focus too much on all these little optimizations at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like this is one I even did this a little bit when I sold, and then I got over that. And now I don't worry as much at the beginning, especially about this for most of the time, which is like I always use the example, like if you go through every YouTube best practice, it says your video should be 7 to 12 minutes long.
Hmm.
That is kind of that optimal length. But I know way too many people who will make a 4-minute video and then add 4 minutes of crap to hit that number. And then they just
Yeah.
have a terrible video. Like in that case, just make it 4 minutes. Like once you get really comfortable and good at consistent content,
Yeah.
then worry about like, okay, I can make this 7, I can make this 8, I can make it 9 and be really good. But I'd rather you do
Yeah.
a good 3 minutes and then nothing else than 3 minutes that are good filled in with 5 minutes of crap.
Yeah, quality is king. I have there's this one YouTuber that I follow and I've been watching her videos for years now. Like I just she puts one every week. So it's like part of my little weekend thing where I get up, I see what she was up to this week and she posts. And over the years, a lot of times people are like, please make them longer, make them longer. We love it so much, make them longer. And she flat out said, guys, I don't have more to give you. Like this is what's interesting. This is what's good. There's just nothing else to put in there. So, and I appreciate that because I don't want to sit there and do
Yeah.
an extra 10, 20 minutes of nothing, right?
Yeah.
Of just filler content. Quality, yeah.
Yeah, like, I think if I remember correctly, and I might get this slightly wrong, my most viewed video ever on YouTube was 2 minutes and 58 seconds.
Right.
And I also got the most clients from that video.
Mm.
But it was like, so before housing category, I don't need, when you actually might, housing category might have already been here when you started with us with Facebook, where you have to like mark it.
I think it came really soon after
Yeah.
because I remember it was a thing. Like it
Yeah.
became like it was we talked
Yeah.
about it a lot.
So before that, their
Yeah.
solution, and you'll understand pretty quick why it wasn't a solution, was you just had to certify you were complying with all fair housing laws.
Mhm.
But as soon as you certified that you would comply, you could go right back to discriminating anyone you want because you certified. But as long as you didn't, you could do it. But there was this thing that kept happening where if once they brought it out, everyone would go on, they'd put an ad up, and then they'd be like, your account's been shut down until you certify you're complying with fair housing. Except it wasn't like simple, like and immediately obviously like click a button and do that. And no one knew kind of where to go. So I
Right.
really just had a video that was how to certify compliance. And it's just like, go here, click here, click here, click here. Great. Now your ad is going to go live. And that was it. Like in and out in 3 minutes. Like I had intro, body, outro, 3 minutes or less. I had like 29 to 31,000 views, I think is where it ended up before that wasn't a thing anymore. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for us, from a marketing standpoint, why that works so well is the only people who would ever get that were real estate agents. And then the only real estate agents who would also get that were running ads, which at the time, all we offered people was Facebook ad management. So it was
Yeah.
like agents who needed help with Facebook ads would come to that video only. So like every single person was a potential ideal client. So like
Right.
you look at that like with real estate, it's like, okay, what would be that type of video that only our ideal clients would be interested in? And especially at a point where they're Googling or they're searching.
Hmm.
That's the other shift now, is like, especially the younger generations, they don't go to Google as much as they used to. It's like they
For
search
sure.
something else. So
Oh, depending on what it is I'm looking for, I will absolutely start on social media and look things up there. And then if not, then I'll jump on Google kind of thing. But yeah, social, like every app now, like it used to be more, okay, YouTube was more of a search engine. That was kind of it. Every single platform now is used as a search engine. TikTok,
yeah,
Instagram, Facebook, all that, especially with marketplace and stuff coming into play. Like
yeah,
everybody's looking stuff there, right?
yeah. Well, it's because
Oh,
Google is so easy to manipulate now, especially with AI content bombing it. And then there was the Reddit trick for a while, if you remember the Reddit trick.
yes.
And then marketers figured that out and just started adding Reddit to their crap content and then gaming it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's part of the fun. So what's the other big one we see? Um, I mean,
Well, we talked about kind of speaking to your audience on social media on the whatever you are posting, right? But also knowing where your audience is spending time, which platform they're actually spending time on. Um, like, if you're looking at TikTok and you're like, everybody's on TikTok, I'm gonna go on TikTok. I'm gonna go post 3 times a day. I'm gonna go like crazy. But then you're telling me that your audience is, elder generation of boomers and they're downsizing and they're settling down and or they may have already settled down, but downsizing more to,
yeah,
retirement mode and stuff. That is not where they're spending their time.
yeah,
Like it's knowing which platform to kind of hop on
yeah,
and look that up.
yeah. And it's
If
better to do like one platform really well than like
Yes.
half-ass for them.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Really figure out and research where your people are spending time and then go all in there. We have clients where they switch it up. We a client that I just spoke to that said that they focus on people downsizing. They are spending all their time on Facebook and they're like, well, I guess I should be jumping on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. And I was like, no, 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 no. You're right where you need to be. You are right where you need to be. You can easily go to Instagram and have a presence there if you want to be more open to other clients as well. And there are absolutely boomers on Instagram too, but kind of focusing where your client is spending. If you want first time buyers, absolutely TikTok, absolutely Instagram. If you want downsizers, come hang over and Facebook. You can easily share your stuff to Instagram. Ooh, that's another one right there. Sharing your content from one platform to the next. You have to be careful. Each platform is different. Each way to optimize your post is different. For example, a lot of people, sorry, I just skipped really quickly onto this topic, but you get me started babbling, I start babbling. So stop me anytime. But if you're posting on Instagram, we mentioned hashtags, that kind of thing. So a lot of people will just share their content from Instagram to Facebook really easily, but Facebook doesn't need hashtags. They have them, they don't use them. They're useless. So then you just have these like blue hashtags kind of filling up your caption, no need. So you want to be careful when you're sharing content there. Same thing when you're sharing from Facebook to Instagram. A lot of people, right, with Facebook, you can put links in the caption, but you can't do that with Instagram. So a lot of people will post on Facebook and then just automatically share to Instagram, but you can't click on that link, you can't copy paste that link, you can't do anything with it. So you've basically lost the opportunity for someone to actually go check this out and engage with you there. So easy is nice, but it sometimes it just takes an extra like 30 seconds and you're doing it right, you know?
No. Which platform? So if you were, so let's say we had a client come to us with no accounts anywhere.
Okay.
Where would you look at? Let's say they're trying to target young families looking to move up to a bigger home.
Mhm.
Where would you
For
start them?
sure, Instagram. For sure, Instagram. Because if you're talking about an age group that already has a family started, but they're looking to upgrade, they're definitely on Instagram. You could also actually, I would definitely have a presence on Facebook, but I'd be taking a look at those Facebook groups, like the mom groups, the local groups where like family stuff is going on. That's always a good spot to be. Now, you probably are not allowed to do any type of selling or kind of advertising of yourself on there, but be part of the community, especially if you are part of that community, like if you have children and that kind of thing, and your client is kind of the same as you, or just in the earlier process of what you've already done, you can relate to them in that way. But definitely Instagram. Younger family, you could definitely take a look at TikTok and start jumping on there. It's a little bit more demanding than other platforms, but I think if you were just to pick the one, I would go on Instagram.
Yeah, that's probably right. And I think it's the best platform like for like getting conversations going too. Like I've noticed like even the Instagram chief, what's his name, like Adam Mosseri or whatever it was,
Yeah,
he talks so much now about how they are optimizing the platform for DMs, which is
everybody.
perfect. Yeah,
Yep.
that's really all you want is get as many of those as you can. I mean, unless you're asking AI to generate images around it, but
Yeah, yeah. No, they're doing they've seen that the people using it are mostly doing DMs over commenting,
yeah,
um, mostly sharing content to each other's DMs. They added notes now to DMs, so you can have like a little note pop up over your picture, and if anybody replies to that, it goes straight to a DM.
yeah,
Obviously, stories you can do DM. They even added like comments there to start conversations there that usually end up in DMs. Um, yeah,
yeah.
it's
Those
and
like
actually
little leave a note
notes.
on someone's post has been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And that note, if you're scrolling and you see that option where you can leave a note on an actual post, whether it be a reel or a static post, that is only shown to people that are also following you. So and if people click on that and respond to that, so it's not like a public comment, it's like almost like this little kind
yeah,
of open DM that you have on your post or on anybody's post. And then if your followers spot it, they can hit that little bubble and respond to you in a DM. So they are definitely DM centric, which is great because that's what want you guys to do, is to start conversations with people, not just in
yeah,
comments or liking or sharing. We want you to actually start talking to people and,
yeah.
and be successful and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but it gets that like the people who go on social, they'll post and they'll never go in again, especially if you use like a scheduling software and you might never log in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And no, Melissa, this is not pre-recorded. Um, we're just chatting. She's wondering. Uh,
But
I'm like, is this
no, no,
pre-recorded?
no.
No, this is not pre-recorded. This is us shooting the shit about social media. Taylor couldn't be here today. But if
Yeah,
you
live.
have your own questions, ask them and we'll talk about
Yes,
them.
please. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's funny.
yeah.
I love it.
I
Yeah,
see a
no,
message
very
come up in my
live.
background. Yeah. What was I saying before
Apologize
that?
in advance. What's the what?
What was I saying before that? Before I interrupted with that.
Oh no.
Oh, good times.
Good
Uh,
memory.
see, Melissa, what you're doing here?
I'm the Dory of the group. I have terrible short-term memory.
Oh, it happens. It happens all the time.
Melissa.
Anyways, yeah, like I think a lot of
About
people just get
DM.
so bogged down. Yeah, like so but I had another thought. We'll move on anyways. It's just they get so bogged down in all those like little features and all that stuff. They don't
Yeah.
focus on like you have one goal, just start conversations with people. So like even if you're not creating content, you can still get so much business from social if you just go DM as
Yeah,
many people as you can. Like, yeah, they'll
exactly.
unfollow you, but
Ever. But those aren't
yeah,
those aren't your clients. That's the thing. People get so stressed about losing followers. I am happy to lose followers because they are not my audience. They're not the people that are going to want to have a conversation with me. I still remember the time when we were in the thick of COVID and the BLM movement came up. Um, I had shared something or I had posted something, and I, no joke, in that week lost 500 followers.
I remember that. Yeah.
500 followers, and I was so happy to see them go. I was like, man, really? Like you can't, there's like it's so wild to me. And those aren't people that I would want to have conversations with or anything like that if they're going to be like so sensitive about certain things. But then see, I would easily unfollow someone if they posted something I was like, nope, that is not where I'm at. That's not a core value I have, or I just don't like your content anymore, or whatever. I am not their ideal client, their ideal audience, their ideal viewer. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Well,
Send
it's
those
actually,
DMs
I
and those
was
comments.
chatting with someone yesterday who was talking about bringing on a team member, and they're like, "But the person's a little like eccentric and
Oh,
can be a little like rough around the edges. Do you think that they'd be a good fit?" I'm like, "You're eccentric and rough around the edges. If that's their introduction to you, that's the perfect introduction."
no.
Like,
Yeah, find your people,
yeah.
find your audience. Because once you find them, oh man, it's great.
Yeah. Like the good thing about like using it and like actually being who you are on it is it does turn away the people that they would just be turned away once they meet you. So get rid of them anyways.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I like it for like that filtering ability of it kind of attracts more of the right people. And if you're not like obviously I always say like don't I personally would say like don't talk politics, don't talk religion, stuff like that. I mean, but there are some places to talk like on the political side if you're an agent, you can talk local stuff, especially if it relates to housing and kind of establish yourself as an expert. Just if you're ever going to get into that stuff, know that there will be controversy.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
those controversies can lead to business, they can lead to some, but you'll also get some pissed off people too. But sometimes getting people pissed at you will get other people to like you more.
Hmm.
It's kind of like I one of my favorite ways to get more engagement and on social is posting like something that's opposite of what everyone's talking about and thinking.
Oh, it's huge. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, but it's like you have to believe it though.
Oh,
Like
100%.
I
It's
used to
that
have
popular opinion, right?
yeah, one of my favorite ones from years ago is that I was at a conference. And before me, the speaker was talking about like, and I actually wasn't in the room for this part. I found out after. The speaker was like, if you're not doing video, you're not going to be in the business in the next few years. My presentation literally opened with, yeah, a lot of speakers will say things like, if you're not doing video, you're going to be out of the business 5 years. Here's why that's BS. Because they've been
Uh-oh.
saying it for 10 years. So it's just like a
Oh,
perfect segue, it turns out. But like I was always say, like video's overrated. And the example I always give is like if you're doing like let's say you click on an article on Facebook, which I guess you can't really do anymore because they banned the news, but that's a whole other thing. But if you click on an article and you go thinking it's something to be read, but it's a video, a lot of people just close out and go back because they wanted to read instead of
okay.
watch a video. Like
Yep.
time and place for both. Like
Yep.
even and now, when I say that, you can still do a lot of video without actually being on video. Like, it's amazing too, like how many people just take like written posts, throw music behind them, and then the text is just on the screen as a video, and it
Yep.
works. Like, I
Yep.
think we were talking about it where the topic itself of them is irrelevant, but the when I have my TikTok feed ended up being just like Reddit posts for like a week straight, all I saw was just people reading Reddit posts out
Yep.
and screenshot.
Literally.
And those go super viral sometimes. It's just like taking the written word. Actually, maybe we should test that with REM. Let's just take an article one day and just like have an AI read it as a reel.
Actually, yeah, that's a great idea.
Let's test that out.
Uh, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. See, it works.
Guys,
Brainstorm
this
how
is
to
how we
improve REM social. Yeah.
live brainstorm right
Yeah.
here.
In case you're wondering,
Um,
I'll just randomly send Jen ideas like this all the time and be like, go try that. And she loves when I do that and interrupt her day.
so much.
It's the
So much.
best. It's the
He's like,
best.
oh, you have 60 things on your list? Cool. Can you add this one just somewhere? Just whenever you have time. And then
Yeah.
2 days later, just do it.
Is it done yet?
Do the
Uh,
staff.
You love working for me.
Every second of every day.
So
Oh my
good.
God. It's
Um,
sarcastically, but it's true, guys. It's a great
yeah,
job.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
REM reels before I forget, because again, the short-term memory thing.
yeah. We should test it with both the full one with the full article. I don't know if people will do that.
Mm,
But we should also
I
do
don't
one
know.
with like top takeaways. Like let's test both, see which does better. Ooh, let's test both with the same article. One that's
Okay.
like takeaways written out, and then
Mm,
one that's just like the full thing being read.
yeah. I mean, listen, like on one hand, I think, oh, full thing, are people gonna stay for that? I stay for stuff like that. Like people, oh, the whole community of like people who love the murder mystery things, like they will just speak out an entire episode of something and people stay
Yeah.
to watch it. Like those are long TikToks.
But
People stick
I
around.
don't subscribe to things have to be short. I just think they have to be good.
No, yeah, no,
Like,
completely agree. But
yeah,
that's kind of the thing of like written versus video versus kind of meshing both, and you can
yeah,
kind of switch it up. So if you're more of a written person and you're like, oh, I really should be doing reels, you can still do it. You don't have to be in
yeah,
it. You can just take your text and make it
yeah. Like
video.
stock video
Um,
behind, text
yeah,
on
yeah.
top.
Oh my gosh,
Super
there's
easy.
so much stock stuff out there that you can
Yeah,
use video, pictures, whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like
definitely.
go low tech with it. But like what I always like to do, and I have to get back to doing this more because I've just been thinking about it lately and I should, is I like ignoring popular advice
Mm,
and only look at what content am I consuming,
yeah.
then figure out why I like it, and then
Hmm.
find a way to bring that into what I'm doing. And
Yes.
like it's because that's like an easy way to also stay ahead of the trends. Is like, okay, if I'm enjoying this, then other people probably will
Yeah.
too. And especially if they have a lot of views. Like this is like I've talked about this a ton of times. Like when I was selling, I had a blog post. I was like, 7 things you need to know about buying your first home. I was
Mhm.
doing terrible.
Oh,
Like maybe not terrible, but like we're talking like I had like 100 views. And at the time on my blog, that wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I ended up rewriting it to because it was season 1 of Game of Thrones, 7 things Tyrion Lannister can teach you about buying your first home. And then I just
Mm,
take a quote from Tyrion and like pair it with one of the tips and like
that's so
find out. I just do like one sentence of how I would try to relate that quote to the tip
yeah. That's a
and shot up
yeah.
overnight.
That's a great idea. Okay, everybody that's here, you have the scoop. You have the thing to go try because now, and this was back when you were doing blogs. This was a minute ago.
This was
Now with
14
streaming, the
years
way,
ago.
oh my
14
God,
years ago.
right? So now the way things are streaming, like there's so much content out there. You could just pick a show that you really enjoy
That
watching
your
and just
ideal clients would.
yeah, I think that'd be really a really cool thing to try. There's one TikToker that I follow that I actually follow. I hit follow because that's the thing. When you're just scrolling through Reels, scrolling through TikTok, like I don't hit follow for everyone. If I just like their content, the algorithm goes, okay, I'll show you more later.
Yeah.
And I never have to follow anyone. One person I actually followed is she's an interior decorator and she like picks a show or like people in the comments will be like, "Oh, do this show." And she designs a whole home around it. She like finds inspiration. So if like I
Yeah.
can't remember, you know, one was Bridgerton, like how do you do Bridgerton but like in your home and she would post that kind of thing. And I loved it because I loved these shows. I could relate to them and I saw it and be like, "Oh my God, it all makes sense. It all clicks. That's so cool." You
You
could
could
totally
totally
do
do
that.
a like 3 homes on the market right now that remind me of Bridgerton.
Yes. Oh
And
my
then you go
gosh.
find them. Like if you did just like little things like that, tested them out.
Yes. Or like one show
Yeah.
be like, okay, this character would totally live here. This character would live here. This character would live here. You could like find a home for each character in the show. I
Yeah.
love that.
The, like
Or
it'd take a little bit of work, but like you could totally find some pretty creative ways. And it's such easy content to do.
oh my gosh, it is. And
But
that's you can also put that everywhere. Like you can make a video out of that. You could do a thread out of that. You could do a whole blog post on your own website about that.
and you can
That
go
is
back to
definitely
old, it doesn't have to be something new. Like I would totally right now do one with like Captain Holt for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
oh yes.
Like how would he react to like different homes?
Oh,
And
I
just
would watch that.
yeah, people
100% I would
definitely
watch
would. Yeah.
that.
And
That's a
that
great
actually that does remind me though, we got so memes. because some people share them, but what most agents do is they share agent related memes, and that's a horrible idea. So memes are really effective for getting people from a specific community. I don't necessarily mean geographically, but it can be to share things within their own community. Like we used to do this with just the homes, but I don't know why I stopped. I think it was annoying coming up with new memes every day.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yes.
we'd
Pain
get
of my
so many views on it. Is I just look
Mhm.
for like a meme that was going viral and then I'd find a real estate angle to it. But like if I was selling real estate, I'd find like a something related to my town because I know the only people that's going to get shared to is other people in my town. So it's like,
Yep. No, I remember this because you were doing it at first and then you got really busy. So you're like, Jen, you do it. I'm not a clever person. I am not clever like that. It was the bane of my existence.
yeah. Yeah, I remember I'd get a few memes. I'm like,
But
maybe
they
we
did
don't have to
well.
do this, Jen.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
the
but the trick I always found to making it seem like I was one of the first people to do memes is I would just look at what was going to popular on Twitter because I had about a 4 day window till it made it over to Facebook and Instagram.
yes.
Then I would just
Yeah.
take something popular there, move it over quicker, post
Yep.
about it, and you get tons of views, engagement, and people like laugh with you most of the
Yes,
time.
exactly. People
Yeah,
loved it. But then the treat, so I mean, memes are still a thing for sure. They're still going, but keep in mind, like we did it for realtors. But if you're gonna post a meme,
gotta be for your community.
yeah, keep in mind who it's for, who your audience is for. Because if you're
Yeah,
posting memes about realtors, you're gonna attract more realtors to your
yeah.
content than the potential buyer, the
Uh,
potential seller.
I've been talking about this with a few people lately of like this trap that a lot of people in the real estate industry fall into with their accounts is like, especially like they'll go to a conference, meet like 20 realtors, and it's
Yep.
conference season. So this is timely, is then they'll start engaging with them. And now all their algorithm thinks they want is to engage with more realtors, and then their content stops being seen by consumers. So it's
Mhm.
like, I would say like if you say like you have a team, you want to have a team lead account for agents and then you want to have a team account for the public
Yes.
because you have
Yes.
to have that separate.
Yeah, and I find more and more people too are doing less of the business card and more of the, oh, like hit me up on Instagram, follow me, we'll follow each other on Instagram, we can have a chat there kind of thing. So, and you're right, that's going to take over your algorithm
Yeah,
entirely. Listen, I liked one, and I mean one video that was about a murder mystery. And as soon as I swiped after that, that is my entire feed. And I was like, okay, we need a break because this isn't where
yeah,
I was trying to go. Like
yeah.
it's, yeah, so you have
TikTok's the
to,
hardest one to deal with that on, where it's like you watch, or actually, no, the one that gets me is like sometimes in the morning when I'm downstairs by myself before other people are up, I'll have like TikTok while I'm starting to like make my coffee. And then I'll put it down while I'm doing something, but like I'll put it down whatever video it's on.
yeah.
It'll go
And
like six, 7 times.
yeah.
And now they think I'm into like the most random topics, but
Yeah.
it's a good lesson though. If you, because every now and then like people was like, oh no, I can't go on this platform, it's too negative all the time. Then only like positive stuff for the next little while and you'll stop seeing the negative stuff. Like it's because you're
Yeah, I
stopping
think
and engaging with the negative stuff all the time. Like,
yeah, I think people forget how much power they actually have with the algorithm,
yeah,
which okay, unpopular opinion right here. You really 90, I'm gonna say 95% of the time control your own algorithm.
yeah,
It's not just the app messing with you. You have to tell it exactly what you want. So, for example, when we were mentioning earlier, spend time on kind of curating, your algorithm and figuring out like watching the stuff that you like and that you would want to see as your audience. What would you post? It's going to take a little bit of time. This is another thing where you don't just like drop content and walk away. Set some time aside and scroll and only interact with the stuff that you want to see, that you would
yeah,
want to post, because the algorithm will take it. She will take that control. She will. And she'll be like, I think you like this. This is your entire personality now. And it's not. So as
yeah,
soon it's just like you said, if you're watching through those videos that are gossiping or talking shit about people or being really
yeah.
negative,
That's all you're gonna
I'm
see now.
yeah, I'm gonna apologize right now because our editor is gonna get mad that I just swore. Just bleep me out.
You
But
don't say editor, it's Aaron.
it's Aaron, Aaron the
Yeah,
editor.
yeah,
She's the Irish one.
yeah.
That is her
Business
her
card
role.
that I have them all. She doesn't have her own business cards.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We'll bring them to her wedding. Nice little wedding. Her lordship. Uh,
Oh,
okay.
anywho,
Yeah.
yes, you have control over your algorithm. So spend a little bit of time on it, engage with the actual, like if you think it's negative, it's because you're interacting with the negative
Yeah.
stuff. So interact with the positive stuff, search positive stuff, like
Yeah.
tell the
There's
algorithm
also
what
why
you
you have
want.
to engage with people because you'll fall out of their recent interactions and then they'll
Yeah.
stop seeing your content.
Yes.
Right? Like if you're like it's okay to not post a lot if you're more just like a brochure presence where it's like I'll put up a post here and there so if someone looks me up, I look professional. But if like I'm DMing a lot of people, that's fine. But if I want content that's going to be seen, you got to kind of keep going or you're going to fall out of people's interactions. I was going to see your shit anymore, your stuff anymore. Aaron, you can bleep that out.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
Aaron, we had a meeting earlier this week where Aaron was asking me to swear less on the show.
yeah, YouTube doesn't like swear words,
Yeah, it's a good thing
unfortunately.
they're gonna love the title of the show.
You know, we're also like a very pro swearing company,
Yeah,
so
it's true. If you didn't catch on to that, we do that from time to time.
we've been really good for the last 40 minutes. That was like the first time I might have sworn earlier. I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
it's just so natural at this point.
we don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay.
If you don't swear them out, see, we got to balance what the audience wants with
You guys,
what Aaron wants.
this is our audience. This is
Yeah,
the people who swear, the people who have, you know, a little funny bone.
yeah.
Very
We're gonna get
serious
like
people
three other
will
people
not
right now
swear
being
lots
like,
of
"Stop
words.
swearing, I don't like it."
I know.
But,
My,
all right.
um,
As a reminder, if you're here, because not everyone's here at the beginning, Taylor is not here this week because he is speaking at an event. So if you have questions, comments, stuff like that, chat. See, Matt, more swearing, please. It's good.
absolutely
There we
anytime
go.
you want.
Yeah,
Sorry, Aaron.
we'll get there. One
Um,
day we'll try an episode. You know what we'll have to do is we'll have to do one episode one time without any swearing, and then see how the views compare.
I think I'm gonna need a bonus for that because that's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I don't know if
That's
you
a
can do
lot
that.
of conscious
We're just gonna have to edit that part out. The only way we get it without is if you're not editing. But it's a great way to know. Like every time I've launched something new, there's always someone who's not liked it. Like when I launched Over a Pint, we got people angry that we were promoting alcoholism. When we launched the Leisure Shit, they said we were being too negative about leads. We've
Yes,
got a ton
we
of
did get an
different.
email about that.
Yeah,
They said it was really negative
yeah.
in their
Lots of
box.
different things that come out of it, but that's part of the fun. So take that as a lesson. Sometimes, no matter what, it's okay to get angry comments. If I've learned anything from REM, is you put out enough content, you're going to get people upset about something you're doing.
And honestly, like I think you're doing it right.
Yeah,
Um, sorry, my father's calling. There's every part of me just wanted to be like, excuse me. I gotta answer I feel bad now. I have to text him and be like, I'll call you right back. Okay, sorry, distracted.
yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it right. You're doing it right if people are mad.
Now,
If
if you
somebody,
only get angry people, then you might
that's
not be doing it
different.
right, right? Like you got to have a mix of the good and the bad. And you know you're doing it really right if you get some bad and the people who usually follow you go and engage with them on your behalf. That's when you're like really winning. So if you have that, well done.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
actually, it came up in a mastermind we had Monday. Was that Monday already? Yeah, this week's been a
Biggest
long week,
flying. Mhm.
right?
Yep.
It's both gone by fast, and I feel like that was like 2 weeks ago I hosted that mastermind. And they were talking about like negative reviews and how to respond to them. Because like if you do enough business, eventually you will get negative reviews. Like that's impossible to run a business for a certain amount of time and not get something that's not a 5-star review.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is like respond to all of them. Like
Mhm.
every single one, respond to it. Because
Yep.
you have like even if you can delete it, like if it's like a comment on a post, respond to it.
Mhm.
Get people
Yeah.
like people love reading comments. And
Well, and
yeah,
it shows me how you handle the negative too.
yeah,
Like, because I mean, listen, especially like Airbnbs, when I used to do that more, I would go looking for negative comments. I always want to see what are people mad about in this situation because if they're pretty bad, I'm gonna go elsewhere because
yeah,
you can have raving reviews, but there could be those two negative comments that are just like really important to me or relate to something that would matter to me, and I'm out.
Yeah.
And I want to see how you respond to them. If there's no response, I'm not into it. If you respond poorly, like you, especially the Airbnb ones would be like, well, it's your fault because this and this and this, instead of just actually handling it professionally. It says a lot about you
Yeah.
and the service that you provide. So 100% you should be responding to those,
Yeah.
unless they're just dumb.
Yeah. If
Or
someone's
if,
telling you where to go, like stick something, then yeah, you just delete it and block them.
oh, that's a good one there. Spam. Remove spam comments. They do not count as good engagement. People
So
leave them there. They're like, oh, it looks like I have comments. Mm-mm. And the algorithm knows
So I
because they go,
respond to them sometimes, and I will get sometimes just as many likes on the response because I try to do like a funny
okay,
response to them.
that's fair. That's fair.
And I've
Yeah.
had posts where I get more like more engagement from my response to the spam than I will like the original post.
You have to, I love that, but you have to be careful with it, because if there are enough left on your comments, your account just ends up on like a spam list and you will
Yeah,
get so many.
yeah,
You have to be careful with that for sure.
yeah.
But we love a good cheeky comment. We love a good cheeky
More fun.
reply.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. We're good.
you know that.
Yeah. Anyone have any like? I'm curious for people who are here.
Yeah.
What like do you find challenging about social in terms of like results? Because like we talk to a lot of people, it's like they're spending hours a week or even day on a day. They're not actually getting a lot from it. So I'm curious, like what holding you back? What do you think is like a challenge or a pain point for you guys that you're seeing? Because I mean, we might be able to solve it here. It's part of the fun. But yeah. And
Big
then
hot sauce right here.
while we're doing
Right
that,
here.
I was talking about with someone earlier about this, which is just like how to collaborate with other people on your social. And I mean, there's like kind of like we talked about it from like two angles, and I will go with your thoughts on it first. So the first one is if you have a team with agents on your team. So you have the team account and you got, let's say, 3 to 5 people on your team. How would you want them to collaborate with each other to maximize their reach on social?
Ooh, interesting. Um, It's interesting. You have to be a little bit careful because obviously when you have your kind of team account, this is your really branded business account. So then you want to be careful if you're collaborating with your agents that they, whatever. So for people who don't know, a collaboration post is a post that ends up like if Andrew and I collaborated on a post, whatever I posted, if he accepted the collaboration, it would also be posted on his feed. And then we just kind of share the numbers there. So if me, for example, or okay, so if Andrew did one and he's like rainbows and
That's me. I'm a big rainbow guy.
yeah, colors and all that, and was like, Jen, collab on this. What you see is what it is
Black
on my feed.
everything.
I was like, do I want rainbows and butterflies and things on my account?
And puppies.
I'd be like, maybe tag me instead. So this is where you kind of have to keep, like, for me, you have to keep in mind with team versus agent. So if you're collabing that way, you want to make sure whatever they're posting is going to be nice and brand. It doesn't have to be overly branded. Like you don't have to be covered in the business colors or anything, but you want it to mesh nicely. That's a tricky question. I don't think everything needs to be collabed. I think if it has to do with the listing, if it has to do with something that the team at would want to advertise, then yes, do it. Otherwise, I think it's completely fine to keep them separate and just like tag each other in it. So it's not on each other's feeds, that kind of thing. I don't know if
Uh,
that's what you were looking, but
I mean, I wanted your opinion.
that's it.
Wow. What I would do with like the team, and when I
Mhm.
say collaborate, I also just mean like how do you guys work together, not just like the collab button.
Okay.
Right? So like how I would look at it is the team account puts out you're just listed, you're just sold. You're kind of like maybe the content that could be a little bit more dull, but it's still good to have out
Yes.
there. But like the just
Yes.
listed, I would collaborate with the listing agent. So like
Yep.
whichever agent on my team's the one doing it, or if we have like a buyer rep assigned to that one who will handle the buyer leads, I would then do it that way, collaborate. But I would also want all my team members engaging with the posts.
Engaging with
Like
the
go
posts, I would
turn on
also want
notifications.
them. Yeah, I'd want them to go heavy with kind of the reels, the stories,
Yeah.
that kind of thing where it's less fancy, less branded and just in the moment and showing the features and this and that.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not
Agreed.
just about like the one collab feature. It's
Well,
the
I'm very
collaborating.
specific. I'm a
Yeah.
social media gal.
Yeah.
Um,
Because yeah, there's that type where it's like who you's on your team, but then there's also like with other businesses and stuff too. And that's where it's like you have to look at like who's getting a lot of engagement and then just try and like you're piggybacking off their audience if possible.
yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Agreed.
It's easy.
That people
Yeah, do that. Just go do
do
that.
that.
Super simple.
Ta-da, done.
Yeah.
But also, you should definitely, if you can, collaborate with local businesses in your area
No.
because you get to jump onto their audiences as well. And it kind of shows that the area that you not only serve in, but live in.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
then
actually,
maybe they like you. Like I would try to get on like camera with like I'd find like the mom and pop shops that are
yeah.
popular. And then
Mhm.
I would look for like two categories. The ones that have a really big social presence.
Yep.
Then I'd look for the mom and pop shop that's really popular that has no social presence.
Mhm.
Because if we're the only content of them online, when people search, they'll end up on ours.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a really useful tool. So like you look for both. You look for the really popular ones so you can piggyback off their social audience. And then you
Mhm.
find those ones who are popular offline with nothing online so that you can almost act like that place people end up when they're looking for them online.
I mean, you can sell that so easy too to the people who don't really go on social. You can go and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this awesome piece of content. You don't have to do anything but say accept
Yeah.
collaboration. And then you have a new piece of content on there just talking about how
But
awesome
even
you
if they don't have a presence at all, it just goes
Mm.
on your profile and then you optimize keywords. And now if people are looking for it because they don't have a presence, they're gonna end up on your profile and you're the only people looking for it are local people.
True.
So you
True.
take
That's so
advantage.
smart. People are doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. You-
I mean, I used
Keywords.
to, back when I sold, I used to do this. I would take advantage of I would look at agents who got listings but had zero online presence, and this was like 2012, so there were still some who like barely had websites. And I would ask them if I could feature their listing on my website. I'm like, I'll even give you credit, put your name and your brokerage on it. And they all only one person ever said no to me. But because some of them ranked so poorly, I would outrank them for their own name.
Mm,
It's my favorite.
smart.
You'd start like searching their name and be like, hey, check out my site where we featured their listing and all the leads come to me.
Yeah, that's
Great.
smart. That's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah. The early days of SEO when it was so simple. That was when Google Plus used to drive me a lot of business randomly. I was like, there's like a 6 month window where Google Plus was amazing.
Yes, I remember that. We were very excited about it.
I
Um,
was. But then, you know, if you still have if you still have a Google Plus logo on your site as one of the social links, like that, like I don't see it as much the last couple of years, but
Mm.
like even in like the last little while, I have still seen people with the little Google Plus logo. The other one I see a lot, which is funny, is everyone who buys like the templated websites, which is fine, like those work, but they don't update the social links. So they either go nowhere or they just go to Facebook, they go to Twitter,
Yeah.
they don't go to your account. Like if you're not going to link to them, take them off and don't link to dead accounts. This also bugs me. It's like I haven't put like the amount of people that have like Twitter or X linked on their website and they haven't posted in 6 years on that platform. Just don't link to it.
Yeah,
It's
and
lazy.
I mean, listen, I'm an attention to detailed person. I will absolutely go click on those links. And if they lead to literally no account, or if they lead to something you haven't been on in 6 years, that tells me a lot about your attention to detail. And I no longer want to work with you. Being
Yeah.
harsh, but
Oh, well,
like
people make decisions like
this thing that people use to make those decisions because there are so many realtors out there. So I need to figure out the like, and everybody's great. Everybody's not literally, but like, you know what I mean? Where
yeah.
it's not just usually the one realtor that's the best in all the world and that's the one you always go to. Like you have to pick between people. I go for the little things. I look for the attention to detail. That's my thing. But I'm not the only one. I
Yeah.
know I'm not the only one.
But this is an interesting one which I've had to talk with a lot of people about, which is that like a lot of people think like converting someone on a social platform to a client, it's a very linear experience. So, like, okay, they click on the ad, they opt in, I call
Yeah.
them, they become a client. No, it's like they might see your ad and then they'll be like, oh, then they'll Google the address. They'll end up on realtor.ca. They'll come back, they'll look up it on Instagram, and then they'll go back on Google again and then click the call button on your Google business profile. But it was a Facebook ad that they originally saw and ended up on 5 different platforms and ended up calling you over here. Like that, people don't buy in a linear fashion. They'll
Yeah.
like, and the same, like they don't hire people always in a very linear fashion. So like a Google business profile that's complete is really important for conversion. And like having at least a brochure presence in some places is important for conversion.
Yeah.
Like if you were, say, hypothetically, a huge TikTok person,
Mhm.
you might first look at their TikTok profile.
Mhm.
And if you're like, oh, they don't have it, oh, well, I'm not going to use them. I want someone who's big here because in
Right.
your mind, that's a big thing. And that's where like knowing your ideal client's important. Like if you know your ideal client doesn't care about TikTok, you don't have to worry about a presence there. But if you're
Mhm.
like, no, they're on TikTok, well, then you kind of gotta get off your butt and put stuff up there.
Get on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's, you have to know where they are, right? Not everyone, like a lot of people don't need to be there. Or what I've done on platforms for some is we pin a post that just says,
Mhm.
we don't use this platform today. Go find us over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they're
Yeah.
gonna look up, we still want them to like see us and be like, hey, we share the best details of stuff over here. And then we
Mhm.
send it over there. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
good times.
Just overly communicate, basically, whether it's you spend all your time on that platform or you spend more time over there, but you still want that brochure presence that like, hi, we're here. Just come talk to us over here instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell people exactly what to do. Whatever it is you want them to do, tell people exactly what to do.
Yeah. Good times. Well, I think that's I mean, we're pretty much at the end now.
Ooh, look at
Um
us.
yeah, we just started talking, we're like, all right, here we go. So next week, well, Taylor's back. I'm not. Jen, you're gonna have to like log into my account and start it for Taylor.
The
Uh,
ghost of me will be there for just a second.
I mean, you might need you to be the guest with Taylor. Yeah,
You know that thing where you like put things on my plate, but like the
right at the
plates,
last minute. But like, by the way,
yeah. She was guys, but
yeah.
yeah.
So I will try to be here next. So basically, next week my plane lands at 12:30 at Pearson, and this starts at 2 p.m. for me in Newmarket. So it's doable. I might be here on Thursday. Any delay of the flight, too much traffic, we'll see. But I am getting up at like 6 a.m. on Thursday next week and flying home from Calgary plus the time change. So we will see if I'm on time. Or maybe I'll start it from the Uber on the way home. It's like,
Tune
excuse
in
me,
to find
sir, I had a
out.
host. The leads are shit.
Yeah.
So we'll
Oh,
see. But we'll see if the quality is good enough. But yeah, maybe we'll do that. But either way, the show is happening next week. We'll see you guys there. And then for those who tuned in last week, if you were for the charity event that we did, we raised $13,280. So thank you for tuning in last week. So that all went to the Alyssa Ray Johnson Fund, and they've now raised over $1 million. They hit the goal. So awesome. Thank you. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Definitely Taylor will see you next week. I will try my best to also see me next week. But
Thanks
I'm
for having
also a
me.
little bit at the mercy of our plane. And I actually booked WestJet because I wasn't sure if Air Canada would be operating. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I booked it and then they settled the strike soon after.
Good. Yeah, they
So
really did.
it happens.
Well, alrighty.
Good times. All right. See ya.
Well, bye.
Bye.